You know, we have big concerns. We haven't heard any improvements have been done to the facility since the tragedy in October. Hopefully she's done that. We have concerns for the animals and their welfare because of the fact that the conditions were not very good there. They were, in fact, pretty deplorable, as our team has said. You've heard Jack Hanna say.
So can you at least describe the kind of the frustration that you have taking care of these animals and then now releasing them?
Well, it's, you know, with any animal in our care, we grow attached to it. And our team has taken good care, and the animals have gotten healthier since they've been here. And we hope that continues. But, you know, Marion Thompson has a right to the animals, and without the law that we're trying to push through in place, she doesn't have to follow any standards, such as the standards that zoos follow or some of the sanctuaries and other facilities that do a good job.
Are these animals, do they pose a danger, a real danger to the people who are out there, or is that something that's been magnified, over-magnified?
Well, you have 2 leopards, and I don't know if you've ever heard, but I was in there with them when they were in their containment and their transfer crates, and when you feel those leopards growl, you can feel it in your whole body. So I don't know if I would want to have that loose in my yard. I can tell you I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that leopard unless it was fully contained and it was safe. And you had adequate perimeter fences in case it did get out of its enclosure, that it couldn't get to your neighbors.
Did you talk to her, and what was her reaction or her demeanor today?
Oh, I did not speak with her, no. She seemed to be happy to take the animals home, but we did not have any conversations.
But do you have any reassurance from her or her folks that she has proper caging or any kind of...
We have not heard that at all. You know, I know that we've talked with the State Department of Agriculture, we've talked with her lawyer, who has not made any comment on that, and you'll have to ask him or her if they've done that. But we don't know if anything's taken place out there since October.
So what happens next? I mean, do you guys follow up, or is it just done now? You guys wipe your hands and the animals are hers?
The animals are hers. Where we go next is to really push Senate Bill 310 through the House, so that we have you know, things in place that will have some standards for animal care and for public safety.
You mentioned a little bit about the relationship between the zoo and these animals. What was that?
Well, you know, like I said, anytime that we have an animal in our care, we learn that animal. We work with that animal through enrichments, and we grow close to that animal. And that's what our team does. I mean, that's why they're in this business. We care, and our team cares very deeply. And they pray that, you know, these animals get at least the same care as what they've gotten here.
How would you characterize this day for the Columbus Zoo?
It's a sad day to know that they're going back to a situation that hasn't changed. And, you know, our team and our business through the Zoo Association, AZA, works very hard to have the highest standards for public safety and animal welfare. And this is a sad day for that part of it.
What do you say to her neighbors, people who live in her community who are frightened about this?
I'm glad I don't live there.
Who was here today, and who helped out for you guys and for her?
I only know that Marion was here, but I can't tell you the names of the other individuals involved.
Her veterinarian was here too, correct?
Yes.
And can you kind of just bullet point the process that we watched take place here?
Well, essentially we have a procedure that we follow. It's federal guidelines, it's our own guidelines from the Zoo Association, international guidelines, so in order for this type of animal to be moved, they're first fasted, then they're sedated, and then they're moved into the crates. Our team does that. They're very experienced in doing this. They do that all the time, and then the crates were moved out to the loading dock. We assisted her team loading them onto her vehicle, and then they headed out.
Did she say anything?
Not to me, no.
To any of the zoo staffers that you're aware of?
I mean, we had conversations with her about loading the animals, and that was pretty much the basis of any of those conversations, of how she wanted them loaded and how we could help her do that safely. Yes.
The 2 primates were not sedated, correct?
Actually, I can't answer that question. Tom Stoff might know that answer, but normally we sedate most of the animals that are dangerous, but it does depend on the animals. It might be a light sedation, it might be heavier, depending on the animal. But I do know that the primates went in the back seat of the truck, but they were in containers.
Did you guys want to keep the animals? Would you have liked to keep them and keep them as a permanent?
We wouldn't be able to keep them as a permanent part of the zoo. We had talked to people way back in October when this first happened. There's other sanctuaries that meet our standards, and some of the animals might have been placed in zoos depending on their genetics. That's the difficulty in the private animal trade. You don't know what they are. And so if they're purebred, then they could have really helped their species in the wild by being ambassadors and breeders. But more than likely we would have worked with others to put them in a nice sanctuary, a larger sanctuary, and a great place to spend the rest of their lives.
Mr. Schmidt, you may have already answered this, but what is your thought today as you send them off? You know, they're going back to Zanesville. Are you concerned? I know that the conditions in which they were found were not good. Can you tell me your feelings on that today?
It's a sad day, and is there concern? Yes, there's concern. And how do we feel? We feel like we're losing one of our family. And they're going off to somewhere where we'll never see them again, and we're concerned for their welfare.
What would you describe their condition as they left here? You examined them before they left.
They were in very good shape. Very good shape. It's much better than when they came here in October.
How did they come here in October, and what improved?
Well, they were basically, when they came here in October, they were pretty lean in their weight. They may or may not have had the right nutrition, but you know, we have a science in that. We have a whole group of people that studies that, and not only here but across the world at other zoos. So we know the diet and the nutrition they need and what they need to equal those things they would have had in the wild. And they definitely gained weight, and they gained, you know, they were in great disposition.
Were they awake and responsive when they left?
Yes.
What are your concerns for 6 months down the road, you know, with these animals? Could they be in worse shape?
That's a concern, yes. You know, almost all private owners, unless they're really highly financed, don't have the capability that a zoo has to take care of these animals. I mean, we have a veterinary staff of 3 veterinarians, and then we add on to that our hospital manager and our clinicians. And then we have the nutrition team, and we have a keeper team. There's a lot of resources there. And if you look at some of these cats, like a tiger, you're looking at 16 pounds of meat a day that you have to feed them. I couldn't afford 16 pounds of meat. So that's why, you know, we say they don't make good pets.
Did she ask for any advice from you guys for any of these resources or anything at all, ever?
No, she did not.
Who dropped the ball here, if anybody, in allowing these animals to go home?
The state of Ohio, for not having a law in place prior to this that says that you have to have certain standards and you have to follow certain guidelines for public safety and for animal welfare.
Dale, is there any concern with like the temperature today, being a hot day, moving them?
We chose the optimum time working with her. It was great because it was overcast. It was early in the day before the heat really picks up. So from our end of it, we felt it was good timing. Now,
estimate of the cost of care, what it's cost the zoo?
It's cost the zoo a little bit over $120,000. We've received donations of almost $45,000. So right now we're over $80,000 in the hole for the animal care.
Is there any possibility of billing her for that? We
don't know at this time. We did this for the state of Ohio, and we did this for the community. And yes, you know, we're a nonprofit, and that's not normally how we want to spend our money or our donors' money, but we felt this was an important cause, an important thing to do, and if others want to step in and help us, we'd really, really appreciate that.